What to do, everybody? It's your boy OG from Where There's Smoke. I'm here to finally talk about the Iran situation. I've been bullshitting, and anyway, I'm here to cover that shit. The other day, I did kind of have a thing where my OBS scene for the podcast was deleted for some reason, so I just cleaned out all my scenes and kind of redid it. So a few things might be a little off tonight. We might be doing a few adjustments and kind of working through some minor things tonight. So work with me, and with that being said, as always, especially important because of that, I'm going to check the video and check the audio on YouTube. I'm not on Kick or Rumble tonight, being kind of lazy, but let me check YouTube and then we will get into it. I got a bunch of tabs opened up, and we should have a pretty good one tonight. So give me a second and we'll get into it. Okay, so the stream looks pretty good. Uh, Hopefully that is the case. I'm not forgetting about something weird. Uh, yeah, I deleted the scenes. It's not like I reset all my settings, which could be really tricky with certain things. Okay. So because the war has been going on since I think last Friday or Saturday, about a week, and I didn't cover it initially, I did want to kind of go. I have Fox News pulled up here, so we can go together and kind of watch step by step if anyone's missed anything or if I missed anything. This will be a great segment, and I'll put timestamps here so if anyone watches this live stream, they can say, okay, here he recovers the weekly events, then he gives his opinion, then he talks this blah. So for anyone that hasn't seen or really kept up with the war, obviously, if you don't know there's a war going on with between the U.S. and Israel against Iran. If you don't know that at this point, your head's probably in the sand. So, but you know what? Honestly, I have family members that know there's a war going on, but don't know hardly any of the details. And I often bring up things about this, like when there's breaking news or current events that are like drama or low level stuff that just weigh you down. And I have several different family members that'll be like, it's almost more peaceful for me to not be aware of it and to just just not be aware of it and just focus on my life and be in a better overall mind state. So anyway, that's definitely not a wrong way to think. But um, like I said, since I haven't covered this since it's been going on, and for anyone who may have missed anything, if you want a quick update or whatever, we're gonna go through and cover a few videos here on Fox News and kind of get the quick notes on what's been going on. So this is the opening news story when we very first struck. So let's get into it and let's go. Real quick, let me mute my TV in the background so that y'all don't hear an echo, and let's go. Actually, let me switch over to headphones so I can hear it with y'all. And let's go!
We join you right now with breaking news from the Middle East. Israel has launched preemptive airstrikes against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Hold on. My headphones aren't plugged in. I'm a fool.
Going after a variety of positions inside the country. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz declaring a special state of emergency across the country. Just moments ago, air raid sirens were sounding here in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv and across major population centers here in the Middle East, warning civilians to stay close to protected areas, to bomb shelters, understanding that in the minutes and hours ahead, Israel may come under direct Iranian attack. We are getting a new statement from Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz. He says, in part, the state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran. Defense Minister Israel Katz declares a special and immediate state of emergency across the entire country. The state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. As a result, a missile and UAV drone attack is expected against the state of Israel and its civilian population in the immediate time frame. Remember, there has been an ongoing U.S. military buildup across the region for the past 2 months. The world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is now just off the coast of Israel, near to the northern city of Haifa. You have the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group in the Arabian Sea, a variety of U.S. destroyers in locations across the region, and of course U.S. fighter jets not only here in Israel but also in places like Jordan. You heard just last night President Trump talking about what he prefers, a peaceful and diplomatic path that was offered to the Iranians, understanding, though, that they have been incredibly difficult in the past to reach agreements with. And while the president sent his negotiators to the region, to Oman, and then ultimately to Geneva, Switzerland over the past month, both U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner, ultimately the coordination was happening at the highest level, we understand, between the Americans and the Israelis if a decision was made to launch such a strike. And so we are waiting to get additional information from Israeli and American sources to determine what exactly has taken place. But I'm going to give you all of the updates that we are getting in right now as we receive them. We understand, according to the transportation minister of Israel, that Israel has now closed its airspace to civilian flights. Again, this is a precaution, understanding that the Israelis now are bracing for a variety of incoming possible ballistic missile and UAV attacks against their country. Remember, we were reporting here live during the 12-day war last June as the Israelis and the Iranians exchanged blows. And the Iranians have the ability to launch ballistic missiles. They take about 12 minutes to get to Israel, and they can cause significant damage to major population centers here. We also know that Israel has a variety of air defense systems at its ability, and some of those include the short-range systems, the Iron Dome system, the Arrow system, and also David's Sling. You also have Patriot missile defense systems and THAAD systems provided by the Americans that were deployed here in preparation for the possibility that a decision was made to strike Iran, understanding that there will be a response, as we saw over not just during the 12-day war, but also when the Israelis and the Iranians in 2000.
major combat operations in Iran.
Major combat operations.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard.
Okay, if your number one motherfucking priority is protecting Americans from Iran, you better make damn sure that there's not a goddamn terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Because it seems like this is all about protecting Israel. If it's all about protecting U.S., Kash Patel, I'm looking at you, you fucking dork, who can't find Nancy Guthrie, who's been missing for a month. You motherfucker. If we're really about protecting Americans and American safety, it's like, dude, people like you that are actually in high positions that suck cock and are not good, I want everyone that actually still believes in the system to think, are these people really going to protect us during a time of war? Or is this about protecting Israel?
Hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent...
If they've been this terrible for this long, how come we didn't just go through there when we were already in Iraq and Afghanistan and just worm right through there and fuck them too? It's like, come on, dude. They've been a nuisance for 47 years. I don't know about that.
Takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer.
Woo! This was put out the same day as the strike, so probably much later in the day, but...
From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq,
time.
The regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was...
Give me a sec. I'm just going to see how the audio-video volume is for y'all.
Brutal.
Seems to be good.
Something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June,
we've covered over here at least twice how they've hyped up the nuclear thing, and they've been saying that for years. Specifically, Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel has been saying for at least 30 years that Iran is only months away from nuclear, and he's been saying over and over and over for 30 years. So that's like crying wolf big time.
Obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at...
Why the fuck are we going to war now then if we obliterated their nuclear program a year ago with Operation Midnight Hammer? What the fuck?
Bordeaux, Natanz, and Isfahan.
It's bullshit, that's why.
After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons.
But
and
they
we
did.
sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as
I don't know what was happening.
it has for decades and decades. They rejected, wanted to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and did every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
We can't take it anymore. Who would you say can't take it more? Would you... Is it you with Iran, or is it the American people with how much winning they're doing? Who can't take it more?
Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland.
Oh, yeah.
Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship.
Operation Goku, basically.
From threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally
You're going to raise it to the ground? Why didn't he say, like, demolish it to the ground or something?
Again,
we're going to raise it to the ground.
Security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their navy.
Obliterated.
We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties.
Some of you may die. Thanks, Lord Farquaad.
It often happens in war, but we're doing this.
War, what is it good for? I like to say, you know, you cut out a few Muslims, you build a new temple, it's all good. You know, sometimes I think that guy on SNL that impersonates Trump is like not good, but sometimes he's on point.
Not for now. We're doing this for the future.
Not for nothing.
It's a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never
The service members are probably like, hold that thought there.
be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest.
We're going to leave it to God, but at the same time, we're going to send a bunch of bombs and people over there to fuck them up. That doesn't sound like you're leaving it up to God, bro.
In the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police,
like
I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity. or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great, proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour
It's
of
sped
your
up.
freedom is at
I have it sped up just a hair. That's why it also sounds kind of funny. Let me turn it back down.
hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere.
Like you're safer in your home. If the bomb hits, I mean, your house is not going to do shit.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations.
I like how right here Trump says, take over your government. It'll be yours for the taking, the people of Iran. And then more recently, like this was, of course, when the war started a week ago, within the last day or two, as of this live broadcast, Trump has said, no, we're going to pick the leader of Iran. Well, of course you are. Of course you are. What happened to the people taking it over?
For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight.
Never seen. They never seen nothing like it till me, Mr. Trump.
Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond.
That's all Trump does. He just gives us all what we want.
America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your
With Operation Goku.
reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all.
And God bless Operation Punching Jesus. Oh, boom. All right, so we have this video. We watched that. We don't need to watch that. Alerts go out across Tehran. Let's watch a bit of this. Let's watch this one. This one. Initial targets in Iran revealed. Yeah, let's watch this one. Okay.
Meantime, our Lucas Tomlinson is available to us. Lucas, this has been somewhat telegraphed. We thought there would likely be some kind of kinetic action in the Middle East, and it appears that the Israelis have made the first strike. What can you tell us?
John, U.S. and Israeli forces have launched a surprise daytime attack against Iran, officials confirmed to me. This strike was conducted at about 10 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. local time in Iran. What's very unique about this strike is that it was done during the day. Typically, U.S. forces and Israeli forces operate at night. If you remember 8 months ago for Midnight Hammer, those strikes taking place in the middle of the night. Those were, of course, using B-2 stealth bombers. It's notable, John, we talked about this last week, that the thing to watch for with this strike is...
Hold on, let me make sure y'all can see this shit. No, I got y'all on the wrong fucking tab. Hold on, I'm just gonna delete a couple of other lives because I feel like that was messing up my OBS. Earlier, it's running fine now, but okay.
Where are the U.S. Air Force F-22 Raptors, those fifth-generation stealth fighter jets? Those are...
Yeah, I know. My bad, Joe Flex. It's been a little rough on the stream tonight with me getting my shit together. My bad. Oh, we're at war. We're fully at war. We've been at war for a week. The big thing is the war gonna last more than 2-3 weeks, a month-ish, or is it gonna be months? That's the big thing. But right now, I had an intro that I kind of had some technical difficulties, but right now I'm kind of going back over the first week of kind of hitting the highlights, not highlights, but hitting the big story points of what's happening, and then I'm gonna kind of break down my ideas about some other stuff, still pertaining to the war.
Arrived in Israel for the first time. They'd ever been deployed there. They arrived in Israel yesterday with a fleet of tankers, and while it's not confirmed that F-22s were used in this particular strike, it is notable the deployment of that weapon system. We also saw massive evacuations of U.S. embassies, consulates, and U.S. forces throughout the Middle East in the lead up to this attack. Those were the two indicators that...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the war lasts till the end of his term. That's an interesting point. I heard recently, too, we may or may not cover this stream because there's so much. The war is enough for me to cover. I could have been streaming the war every day and had stuff to cover. And there's other stuff in the news still. Saying that to say, I saw something that they're introducing a bill where they might be able to give Trump a third term. So that might be a story we cover within the next day or two. That would be interesting for sure.
And, of course, the breakdown of the negotiations between the United States and the Iranian side that led to this surprise daytime attack.
Yeah, I've been telling people that if there were going to be a U.S. military attack against Iran, and I want to be clear. So
no. He didn't want to speak out of turn, did he?
Surprise daytime attack.
Yeah, I've been telling people that if there were going to be a U.S. military attack against Iran, and I want to be clear. So far, from what we know, this is an Israeli attack. But I suggested that it would happen on a moonless night. And we are not at that moment in the lunar cycle. So yes, when you say this has been a rare and unusual daytime attack, I suppose it maybe gives the Israelis an element of surprise because, as you say, in the past they have been nighttime attacks, and the Iranians maybe they had their forces on lower alert during daytime hours.
There's no question.
Whoa! Look at this map. Naval assets in the Middle East. You think we got enough ships over there? Shit, that's crazy work.
John, that we're in the holy month of Ramadan. That's a month of prayer and fasting for many of the Iranian people. No doubt that it played a role in these strikes. And when you talked about the illumination, John, correct, the optimal time for a U.S. military strike or with the Israeli forces would be a new moon or a very little illumination in the sky. But that officials told me from the start that was never a showstopper. The U.S. and Israeli forces can operate in all kinds of conditions, and it appears those conditions were set and ripe, and a lot of it had to do with the failed negotiations in Geneva on Thursday. But it's certainly unique. And just to confirm, John, this is a combined U.S. and Israeli strike on Iran, officials say.
And so
that's important, too, as like a highlight if we're looking back on this in the months and years to come. At the beginning, we struck Iran together as a joint strike to start this, whatever this is going to be called, looking back on it in the future. Whether this is the start of World War III or whether this is like we have Midnight Hammer as one strike, this is one strike, and then whatever this becomes known as. Us and Israel both struck Iran together to start this.
Live at one column of smoke, a significant column of smoke that is rising over Tehran. Do you have any sense the extent of this first strike from the Israelis and what might we expect to follow on? I mean, I suppose it's quite possible that many of these strikes or that other strikes took place in parts of the country because as the map that we have on our screen shows, there are nuclear facilities scattered all over Iran, and not all of them have cameras trained on them 24 hours a day. In fact, most of them probably do not. So the extent of this strike, I guess, is what I'm asking about.
Well, it's not clear what the targets are now. We are seeing the column of smoke, as you're pointing out on the screen right now, in Tehran, the capital of Iran. Officials said the initial strikes would most likely be targeting command and control radar installations and perhaps some targets associated with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the RGC. Iranian officials have said that the Ayatollah Khamenei is not inside Tehran. We'll wait to see what this initial target set was, John. But officials told me from the beginning that the initial strikes would be targeting radar installations and command and control. And as you've seen with these, as Trey reported, the sirens throughout Israel will be bracing, and all U.S. forces in the region, for any kind of Iranian counterattack. But in terms of this initial target set, it's not clear right now, John.
No. We just got confirmation that the U.S. is participating in these attacks. The first word that came across the wire services was that these were Israeli-only attacks, Israeli preemptive attacks against the Iranians. But the U.S., Lucas, we are told, is participating, and that's no great surprise.
No, and officials told me the same thing, John, at the start of this broadcast, that this was a combined U.S. and Israeli strike against Iran. Just going back to that F-22 deployment, never in history have U.S. F-22s been deployed to the state of Israel. And just last weekend, we were saying that 4 days before Operation...
All right, so this is not really much of a story. Let's see what the next one says.
Let's go back to Trey Yingst in Israel, where we're learning.
This is still the same day, the 28th, but this is just more of the first day war stuff going on.
About sirens going off and possible explosions. Trey, good morning. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Griff, sirens are sounding in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. You can hear those booms in the distance. Those are interceptions. And you're going to see this white line through the air. That is from an Israeli missile defense system that was fired off from the northern part of the city and looks like it successfully intercepted one of the incoming missiles. Again, there is a lot of movement here just in terms of the missile fire, and we know that it's not just central Israel being targeted, but it is also the northern and southern parts of this country. But again, that line that you just saw through the sky there, that is from an Israeli missile defense.
Fox News Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin. Jennifer, good morning. The operation has begun, and you have some insight on what may have been some of the initial targeting.
That's right, Griff. But before I get to those initial targets, we can confirm that there were sirens not only in Bahrain, but also Qatar. That is significant because it suggests incoming missiles into both of those countries where the U.S. military has key bases. In Bahrain, of course, home to the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet. We are hearing...
Yeah, that's the thing. Iran started attacking U.S. bases in other countries because they can't hit us. So that was, I think, the first. We struck them, then they struck other countries around, which hopefully we'll get a news update about that, and they were striking U.S. bases in neighboring countries.
Reports that there is smoke rising on the horizon in the vicinity of that base. We also understand that, you know, again, Qatar would be a logical target because Al Udeid would be the largest U.S. air base in the Middle East. They obviously have removed a lot of the airframes and warplanes from that base in anticipation of this. Americans who are living in Bahrain, UAE, Qatar have been told to shelter in place, and the U.S. military had dispersed a lot of its personnel. Remember, there were about 30,000 to 40,000 American troops at bases across the Middle East, but the U.S. military over the last 2 months have been drawing down and reorienting those individuals. Now, here are some of the targets that we can confirm in these dozens of strikes that have taken place in the last 3.5, 4 hours. The Iranian parliament was targeted. The National Supreme Council was targeted. Ministry of Intelligence, Iranian Atomic Energy Agency. Cyber attacks have taken place on news agencies such as IRNA, which is the state-run news organization. The internet is out in Iran as far as
if we hit Iran this hard, and I heard today we might hopefully we'll find a news story about this where we hit their oil, one of their big oil infrastructure things. If we're hitting their internet, their grid, I mean, every fucking thing, how can they last after a week? I don't understand.
No, so it's going to be very difficult for civilians in Iran to get the information about what's occurring right now. There are unconfirmed reports that Iran's defense minister was targeted, as well as the head of the judiciary. That would be significant because the head of the judiciary would have delivered many death sentences, thousands of death sentences to protesters over the years. So it would be logical that he would have been a target. But what's clear, Griff, from these initial strikes is that this is an attempt at regime change. We've talked in recent days about how broad would this mission be? Would it be only the nuclear sites? Would it be the nuclear sites plus the ballistic missile storage sites, which Israel was very concerned about and had pressed the U.S. to include as part of the targeting? Now it is extremely clear that this is a targeted, the strikes are targeting Iran's leadership, including the supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who Lucas Tomlinson was reporting.
Yeah, if you didn't know, at the very beginning of the strike, we killed their supreme leader, or their Ayatollah, who's like their huge religious major figure. So I'm surprised that hasn't been on one of these.
Power.
That was the first thing that happened.
37 years ago, he took over in 1989. He's the longest-serving leader in the Middle East, and his compound was targeted in the early hours, in maybe even the first strike that took place. That is symbolic and that is significant. And you heard the president appeal to the Iranian people, saying that this moment is a moment in history that you should seize. After the bombing stops, he appealed to them to rise up, and he said, "The hour of your freedom is now." He said, "Stay in your house until we are finished."
We
but
saw
this
that.
is the moment that you can take over your government and seize power. That is significant because we weren't sure that this was going to be a regime change operation, but it's very clear from the initial set of targets that that is exactly what it is. Griff.
Jennifer, just as you were starting your reporting there, we're seeing on the wires that Bahrain is confirming the headquarters of the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet has been targeted by a missile attack, and the president adding in that video message that American casualties are a real possibility here as we wake up now and learn.
That's the thing. How do we feel about going to war in this? Let's pull this up too. Oh, shit. Didn't mean to do that. Pause. How do I close that? Yeah, I just wonder how Americans, I don't think any Americans really want to go fight and die in this war. I feel like this is the least we felt in a war maybe since like one of the Vietnam or Korean wars, but since like 2000, I think this is the least we've been invested in a war. So I don't know, even conservatives I don't think want to go fight in this war.
This major joint combat operation between the U.S. and Israel is launched. This could pose a significant threat.
Let's watch this.
It's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets takes off, armed with long-range high-precision missiles. According to CIA and Israeli intelligence, a significant portion of Iran's leadership has gathered here, in a compound in Tehran. Among them, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader. 2 hours and 5 minutes after the jets took off, Israeli missiles strike the compound. This is how the Israeli and US attacks on Iran unfolded, how the country's leader was killed, and what has happened since.
What the hell?
By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged. The US, Israel, and Iran have a long history of tensions. Until 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was supported by
I'm glad I found this one. This video is a banger. I can
the
already
US.
tell.
When his regime was
what we
overthrown in
need.
the Iranian Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of the country and founded the Islamic Republic.
Joey said, "Fuck the war." Joey, you're gonna be the first one we send over there, bud. You and Copper are gonna sniff him out.
He was determined to transform Iran into a country ruled by Islamic law. Khomeini abandoned the former Shah's pro-Western stance. The US and its close ally Israel were declared sworn enemies. Especially the opposition of Israel became a strategic and ideological goal. Ruhollah Khomeini died in 1989 and was succeeded by Ali Khamenei, a cleric who quickly rose through the ranks and had become a key figure in the religious leadership of the country. Over time, Iran, Israel, and the US repeatedly engaged in conflicts. Sanctions were imposed onto Iran. Iran became a key financier of anti-Israeli militias in the region. In 2002, it was uncovered that Iran was enriching uranium at 2 secret locations. The enriched uranium could be used for nuclear reactors or nuclear weapons, a fear the US and its allies had had for a while already. Iran has repeatedly denied its alleged pursuit of nukes. The US and Israel ran many attempts to stop the nuclear program. Through cyber attacks, the assassination of key scientists, and especially in the US's case through diplomacy. In 2015, the Obama administration and the Iranian regime agreed to a nuclear deal.
This is a good day.
It's crazy because how would we react if someone was trying to stop us this much from doing something? They were doing cyber attacks and assassinating our scientists and just everything in their power to try to stop us from getting weapons to protect ourselves. It's like we have as you see, our military has been bragged about for years and years and years, and Trump brags about everything. He brags about that too, but that's been bragged about for years. He's like, we have the best military. I built and rebuilt the military. We have the best, most sophisticated, advanced military ever. And that's been something, like I said, that's been bragged about for years and years. So who are we to say we get to have the biggest and best military, but no, you don't get to do it?
Because once again, we're seeing what's possible.
Our other adversaries, Russia and China, have all that big bad stuff. Why are we worried about Iran having it? It's kind of weird.
With strong American diplomacy. Under the nuclear deal that we, our allies and partners, reached with Iran last year, Iran will not get its hands on a nuclear bomb.
However, in 2018, President Trump pulled out of the deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made.
Ever since, relations have tensed up. In 2025, in the midst of new negotiations, Israel and the US launched a series of airstrikes on Iran using bunker buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. In the same year, Iran plummeted further into an economic crisis. The currency crashed, food prices soared, people grew frustrated. By the end of 2025, mass demonstrations erupted across the country. Peaceful protesters and rioters called for the end of the Islamic Republic. Trump called for an uprising of the Iranian people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests. It shut down the internet across the country. For days, little to no news made it out. In the end, thousands of people were killed. 50,000 reportedly got arrested. The US began...
Can you imagine if we got into a real big, like, quote-unquote civil war or something where they got the people over here real fired up and hating each other and we started going against each other and then they shut down the internet and the power? Dude, that would be a fucking nightmare.
And to build up troops in the region, with Trump repeatedly threatening Iran. On Thursday, February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the two countries in Geneva. To no avail. Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m. in Tehran, Iran's capital. This government compound is not far from Hur Square. It reportedly houses offices of the Iranian presidency, Iran's National Security Council, and the Supreme Leader. Since 2025, the US has apparently gained specific insights how Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicate and move while under pressure. Reportedly, the CIA has tracked Khamenei for months. They've mapped his whereabouts and studied his patterns. They're confident he's here today, and they learned of a meeting of top Iranian officials on site. The US and Israel originally intended to strike at night under the cover of darkness. But they reportedly moved their time of attack. This opportunity was too good to miss. Suddenly, Israeli missiles hit the buildings. During impact, several national security officials are in one of them. Supreme Leader Khamenei reportedly in another. Afterwards, satellite imagery shows heavy damage to the buildings. Black smoke is rising. Geo-confirmed footage recorded here also shows massive amounts of smoke in the area of the compound. A picture taken here, too. Ali Hosseini Khamenei died in the attack. Also killed, Suyid Abdorrahim Mousavi, Chief of Staff of Iran's armed forces. Ali Shamkhani, head of the National Defense Council. Muhammad Pakpour.
And I could be wrong, but I'm like 75% sure that the initial strike was this strike. The start of the war was the strike that killed like all these guys.
Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC, Aziz Nazerzadeh, defense minister. According to Israeli news, a total of 30 senior Iranian officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike.
Okay, yeah.
The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel and Epic Fury in the US. It has been planned for months. Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, however, survived. Ali Larijani, secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, vowed Iran would fight back and assured continuity of governance. The strike on the government compound was just one part of the operation. Afterwards, Israel reportedly take out Iran's air defenses, especially around Tehran. In a third wave, Israel deploys roughly 200 fighter jets, bringing much of its air force into Iran.
Whoa.
The goal is reportedly to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible. The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet. Reportedly, US warships fire Tomahawk cruise missiles at Iranian targets. American ground forces use artillery rocket systems. Several military and command centers in Tehran are hit by Israel.
I just wonder if that's the most effective way with these huge missiles that are like in that real big truck. It's like the way we killed Maduro. I know that was one guy, but we came in there real fast, real clean with like advanced technology. And I feel like in this war, we're using like old technology. Like, I could be wrong. And there's, if this war continues, there may be more, but I'm just wondering when they're going to pull out the stuff. Like, against Maduro, they brought out stuff that paralyzed people with like sound waves or something is what's heavily speculated.
Israeli airstrikes. Further explosions are reported in Iranian cities across the country.
Damn.
Trump releases a video officially announcing the military operation and urges the Iranian people to take over their government.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Netanyahu later does the same.
נבטיח את נצח ישראל.
Shortly after their announcement, an airstrike hits the Sarayeh Tayyibi Elementary Girls' School in Minab, Hormozgan province.
Who did that? Because they asked Trump about this recently on Air Force One. We're going to watch that, and he blames Iran. It's like, well, I don't know.
Iranian state media and officials claim that at least 175 people got killed, most of them likely children. These numbers have not yet been confirmed independently. According to the New York Times, the school is adjacent to an Iranian naval base. US Central Command announced an investigation into the strike. Iran launches Operation True Promise 4 and the retaliatory strikes begin. Countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites across the Middle East. More than 200 missiles are launched at Israel alone.
Wow.
In solidarity with Iran, the Houthis in
crazy.
Yemen announced that they will resume attacking shipping lanes in the Red Sea. This effectively ends a 3.5-month pause following the 2025 Gaza ceasefire. The US-led coalition reportedly intercepts several drones and missiles heading towards Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq with no casualties. Multiple news outlets later report explosions near Erbil International Airport where US soldiers are stationed. That afternoon, Dubai International Airport is hit with an Iranian drone, striking Terminal 3 and effectively closing UAE airspace. Several luxury hotels
So
like
this
the
is
Burj
where
Al
Iran started attacking the surrounding countries, like I was saying earlier, and some U.S. bases in surrounding countries.
Arab and Fairmont de Palm are set on fire. It's unclear whether this was the result of a direct attack or if the fires
Shit, we don't even need all the Fox videos. This is the update we needed. This video is a banger.
were caused by debris from intercepted missiles. But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian Shahed drone striking a tower block roughly 20 minutes from the facility.
Oh.
In Qatar, the Ministry of Interior reports 66 ballistic missiles were fired at the country. The debris reportedly injured at least 8 people. In Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is targeted by ballistic missiles, which are reportedly successfully intercepted. In Jordan, the military reports that it has intercepted and downed 49 drones and ballistic missiles, likely headed for the major US military bases across the country. In Kuwait, Iranian drones strike 2 passenger terminals of the Kuwait International Airport. In Syria, debris from an Iranian missile kills at least 4 civilians while injuring several others. Both Qatar and Saudi Arabia announced that they reserve the right to respond. The Arab League condemns Iran's attacks. Following the blanket strikes by Iran, NATO senior command said its missile defense systems in Europe and its early warning radar in Turkey are on alert. Some experts warn that Iran may activate sleeper cells in Europe and North America. There are many more events and details we can't cover in this video, as attacks continue back and forth. So let's zoom out a bit. The US's involvement in the attacks is controversial. On Truth Social, Trump said this:
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime. Its menacing
It's so interesting. I wonder if he initially posted that thing to Truth Social and it was picked up everywhere, or he put it out on like through Fox and all those other stations. But I know a lot of stuff, especially like his social media posts. Trump will post stuff to Truth Social, and then people probably will have an account just to screenshot it off of there and upload it to Instagram, Facebook, X especially. So like it's almost like he's forced a lot of people to tune into Truth Social, but I don't know what I'm trying. It's like a funnel effect. Like I'm not on Truth Social, but I still see like everything he posts on there through Facebook, and like a lot of my stuff is even from Twitter onto Facebook, but it's from Truth Social to Twitter to Facebook, and then I still end up seeing it though. So it's like interesting how that all works. We still see all the stuff he posts on Truth Social, but almost none of us have it. So I wonder if he's posting his official White House shit to there first. That would be crazy.
activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
It's an argument for a war of necessity. An attack was looming across the sea, so the US had to strike preemptively. But it's unclear how Iran's activities directly endangered the United States. Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own intelligence. The country's ballistic missile arsenal is estimated to reach no more than 3,000 kilometers, a threat to neighboring countries, but not to the US. Iran might have been attacked because it was in a uniquely weak position, as a type of preventive measure. This might make this a war of choice, not one of necessity.
These preventive wars are often condemned internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
According to international law, a war of choice would be illegal. There are also discussions whether the attack was in violation of the US Constitution. Trump started the war without congressional approval.
That's a big thing too. He started without congressional approval, but this video I think was made 3 or 4 days ago. Since then, Congress did vote to approve him to keep doing what he's doing. So that's an interesting caveat. I don't know how anyone feels about him just acting without their initial approval, but then they retroactively said we do approve. What are y'all's thoughts on that? I don't really have any so far. I think this is all going to happen no matter what. And it really doesn't surprise me that they back Trump. So, you know, I think, yeah, this war was going to happen no matter who was in my opinion.
Across the US and parts of the world, protests erupted, partly against the Iranian regime, partly against American involvement in the war. Oil prices have risen sharply. Experts warn of an impending global energy crisis because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, the Strait of Hormuz has been huge. That's why gas prices have gone up over the past week. This is probably the main reason. This supplies 20% of the world's oil right here.
In Iran, people celebrate the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Others are grieving. At this point, it remains unclear who will succeed him. For now, the regime formed a provisional government. It seems set on revenge and continues to strike Israeli and US bases. The exact number of deaths is hard to determine at this point. According to the US military, so far 3 American soldiers have been killed, with 5 seriously injured. According to Al Jazeera, 10 people have been killed in Israel, 3 in the UAE, 1 in Bahrain, 1 in Kuwait, 13 in Lebanon, and 2 in Iraq. The Iranian Red Crescent has reported that since the attacks, at least 555 people have been killed, with hundreds injured. According to the Times of Israel, these numbers
So about 600 casualties.
do not differentiate between military and civilians. The situation is likely to escalate further in the upcoming days.
Everyone's like holding their breath to see if China, Russia, North Korea is going to get involved on the behalf of Iran. There was some rumblings that Yemen was going to jump on their side, maybe some other countries. So we'll see. Everyone's like holding their breath at this point to see if that's going to happen.
Reporting like this,
and we're going to cover it. It's one of the videos I have towards the end, but Trump is kind of mocking the UK guy for just now sending some help. Like, oh, we don't need your help. Now the war's about over. So it's like, all right, motherfucker. Hopefully you're right and the war's about over. But, you know, in 2 or 3 weeks, if it's still going on, that's going to be something that we can look back to. Be like, all right, you said it was over. But, you know, it was just all, he's a lot of talk. We know that. But
it's incredibly resource intensive. It's only possible thanks to today's sponsor, Hansen.
All right, fuck off with today's sponsor. But that was a good video. That saved us from watching a bunch of these Fox videos. Thank you, bud. Thank you, doggy. Hit him with a little pump. Okay. Let's see. What else do we care about watching to catch us up? Trump fires Kristi Noem. That's a big story we're not going to cover today because we're mostly focusing on the war. Okay, let's get off of Fox. And let's get on to some of the other stuff I had to cover. Let me pull it up for y'all. There we go. Okay. This is just 3 hours ago, so let's watch this and see what, I was going to see if there's anything else. We might look up, see what Mr. Myron Gaines has to say about the war. One of his videos might kind of remind me about something that I'm forgetting about or help fill us in, because he's definitely on top of this shit.
Night skies over Tehran turning orange. as Iranians experience some of the heaviest bombardment of this war. State media saying that the strikes hit a gas depot and an oil refinery. This after a warning by President...
See, earlier said we hit their internet and like most of their military, and there's another video where Trump talks about, or it's like a post on Truth Social where he talks about taking out their Navy. Let me pull that up. Yeah, this one's this was like a couple days into the war, like maybe 3-ish. He said, "I've just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk." Let me see if I can get the actual thing so it's not blurry as shit. Okay, yeah, when was this? Does it have a date? 6 days ago. I have just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval ships, some of them relatively large and important. We are going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea also. In a different attack, we have largely destroyed their naval headquarters. Other than that, their navy is doing well. President Donald J. Trump. So this was something that happened early on in the war after we had struck, and you know, that one video that outlined it so well where it showed that we struck Iran, they struck back several other countries and all that. And like a day or two after that, this was put out by Trump, I guess, on Instagram and other socials. So that was kind of one of the updates that happened early on that really solidified that this is serious and continuing ongoing. Also, this thing says we struck one of their oil refineries, and like that was supposedly a real big thing. What is this? Let's watch this real quick. This is breaking, or like an hour ago type shit. It's just an update on what he's saying.
As 6 fallen service members killed in action are returned to the U.S., tonight, President Trump vowing Iran will, quote, be hit very hard, saying the U.S. has identified new targets for, quote, complete destruction and certain death as the war rages on.
We're doing very well in Iran. You see the result, and it's been amazing.
The president praising the strength and scope of the U.S. military operation.
We have amazing weaponry, as you probably noticed over the last short period of time.
This satellite image showing the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier positioned just 200 miles off the coast of Iran as American B-1 bombers seen arriving in the UK. Airstrikes aimed at critical regime targets relentlessly pummeling Tehran. A huge explosion at Mehrabad International Airport. The massive fireball seen in video posted on X. These satellite images show damage to...
It's really sad. All this death and destruction for what? You know, I'm glad to see like a lot of the people in America these days are kind of like not with it. But it's kind of one of those things that makes you think like, damn, if our government's so different from the people, I'm sure it's that way in other countries too. It's like, man, something's got to change here. We can't keep supporting a government who's no good for us or people of other countries. Man, this is, yeah, that's a whole, that's another, I could rant on that for 30 minutes. But anyway.
Strategic air and missile bases. Meanwhile, Israel launching a new wave of strikes targeting this oil refinery in Tehran. Iran's national oil refining company confirmed the attack. Video of the fireball posted on X. Tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying Israel has, quote, many more surprises for the next phase of its operation. This comes just hours after Israeli fighter jets targeted the late Iranian Supreme Leader's underground bunker complex in Tehran. Iran says it launched a new wave of attacks of its own against Israel and U.S. assets in the region. The country's president saying the U.S. demand for an unconditional surrender is a dream that they should take to their grave, but going on to apologize to neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran and claiming that Iranian...
Yeah, we're going to watch a video where Trump, it's going to be where he's on the Air Force One and reporters are talking to him like a day or two ago, and he's going to touch on some things that I want to talk about, and he's going to touch on like the newest things that are going on in the war basically, but he's going to mention that they apologize. But why would they say, like, talking out of both sides of their mouths, why would they apologize after just bombing the hell out of Dubai and a bunch of other countries that weren't even in the war? That just doesn't make any sense.
And for an unconditional surrender is a dream that they should take to their grave, but going on to apologize to neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran and claiming that Iranian forces will not target those countries unless Iran is attacked from them. But the strikes continue today in several Gulf countries. Video posted on X showing the moment an Iranian drone struck near the airport in Dubai, the airport temporarily suspending operations. And tonight, the war opening up on several fronts, from Lebanon to Iraq, where our James Longman met with Kurdish forces who are within striking distance of Iran.
I'm at the Iraqi border crossing with Iran. Take a look, we are high in the mountains.
And Trump's going to say on that Air Force One video that we're going to watch is, yeah, we're not going to use the whoever these guys are, let me see what their name is.
Where our James Longman.
He's like, yeah, we're not going to arm the Kurdish rebels. It's good that they want to, but we're not going to need them. We don't need any of them. It's like, why are you calling things off like the war is almost over? If it escalates in the next day or two, you're looking like a fool and a liar, as usual.
Met with Kurdish forces who are within striking distance of Iran.
Look at them.
I'm at the Iraqi
They're ready to
border crossing
go.
with Iran. Take a look, we are high in the mountains here. This is the crossing over here. And we've been talking to people, and we understand that the Iranians sent border reinforcements to this region because they are paranoid about a possible incursion, a ground incursion into the country.
And in Beirut, the strikes intensifying by the day.
Wow.
Dozens of airstrikes pounding a Hezbollah stronghold neighborhood in Beirut and other targets across the country. The Israeli military renewing evacuation warnings for everyone living in southern Lebanon and in parts of Beirut. Hundreds of thousands of people, like this young family we met, forced to flee with only moments' notice. He says they left their home with only the clothes on their backs, adding his children are now terrified of the noise of fighter jets. Tonight, Hezbollah launching dozens of missiles at sites across Israel, the IDF saying they will respond in force.
And Lindsay, just minutes ago, the Israeli military
A video taken by the Associated Press shows what appear to be Iranian ballistic missiles flying over the occupied West Bank and dropping smaller bomblets, which are found inside the missile. A specialist at Armament Research Services confirmed that based on the number of visible objects seen, these are cluster munitions. Israel has accused Iran of using cluster munitions during this war, which Israel has used in previous wars in Lebanon, according to experts. According to AP reporting, the US used them last in 2003 in Iraq and has not joined a convention banning their use. Iran's latest attack comes as intense Israeli airstrikes continue to pound the capitals of Iran and Lebanon. The Israeli military says the fighting has destroyed most of Iran's air defenses and missile launchers. The broadening
I don't know how they could go on after a week. So maybe Trump is right, like it's about over, but
Iran
we'll
war
see.
has ricocheted across the region and beyond, with nearly every country in the Middle East sustaining damage from missile hits, drone strikes, or shrapnel. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has warned that strikes against Tehran are about to surge dramatically.
Damn. Old. All right. This is 3 days ago. It was kind of a big deal because it's the first torpedo that was used since World War II, I believe. Yeah. So that was kind of a big plot point, I guess, so to speak, in the first week of like what was going on. When I heard about that, I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting. They use a torpedo. I wonder if that's real or not. That's crazy if that's real. Damn, who knows what's real anymore though? Unless it's on the news, sadly. This is 1 day ago. Let's watch this.
And the U.S. is surging more firepower to the Middle East as Operation Epic Fury rages on. So a short time ago, CENTCOM posting this video alongside the caption, U.S. combat power is building as Iranian combat power declines.
I think I'd rather watch a video of Hegseth or Trump talk about this, but they're saying even now within the last day or so, they're really trying to pump it up even more and probably deliver the final blow or two.
As the U.S. and Israel entered the
5 days ago. Look at the fighter jets, $31 million plane shot down. Oh, yeah, supposedly there was friendly fire from Kuwait on the U.S., so I definitely want to cover that. I almost forgot about that, and I'm glad that's one of the major plot points of the first week.
third day of their joint assault on Iran in what the Pentagon has dubbed Operation Epic Fury, U.S. military personnel had a brush with death after 3 U.S. F-15E fighter jets were mistakenly shot down by Kuwaiti air defenses in Al Jarrah. Shocking video posted on X captured the startling moment the jets plummeted to the ground, forcing U.S. pilots to eject and deploy their emergency parachutes. According to the American military's Central Command, the 3 U.S. jets were erroneously shot down shortly after an apparent Iranian drone barrage struck the U.S. Embassy compound in Kuwait City. CENTCOM said all 6 crew members on board the jets were able to eject safely and are in stable condition. According to the U.S. Air Force, the jets, known as F-15E Strike Eagles, are a dual-role fighter plane, capable of executing both air-to-air and air-to-ground combat missions. Each F-15E jet has 2 crew members, a pilot and a weapons systems officer, who have the ability to fly at low altitude and any type of weather. The F-15E is the improved version of its
I'm the Birdman, Daddy. I fly in any weather. I had to.
predecessor jets F-15A through D, which were developed throughout the 1970s. Unlike previous models of the F-15, which were specifically built for air-to-air combat missions, the E version can detect and destroy enemy ground positions from long distances. The $31.1 million F-15E jet, which was originally made by McDonnell Douglas, which later merged under Boeing, first flew off the production line in 1988 and debuted in 1991 during Operation Desert Storm. The jets have been used in several...
I don't give a fuck. Anyway, the main thing from that story was Kuwait shot down a few of our jets in friendly fire. So...
numbers and
this is a video where Trump talks about cutting off. He's having a meeting with, I think, the big dog from Germany, and it's terrible they don't put this in the description or in the title. But let's see where he talks about cutting off Spain. Going from about here.
See what happens with the people. You know, they have their chance. We've said, don't do it yet. If you're going to go out and protest, don't do it yet. It's very dangerous out there. A lot of bombs are being dropped. Everything's big in my book. Venezuela is big. This is big. The original.
Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. Fuck it.
Thank you, Mr. President, for having me here in this.
This is going to be a long stream tonight. We're already at an hour. It's probably going to be a good 2 hours or so. I didn't cover a lot of this the first week due to my own laziness, but we're going to really hit it hard. And I'm not going to watch this whole video by any means, probably the first 5 or 10 minutes. But I do have a lot more content to get to, and just going to kind of flesh out my opinion. And, you know, it might not be the best content, but we're having fun. I'm kind of covering a lot of stuff I should have covered. And maybe if something big, a big event happens in the war, I'll have all the stuff that I feel obligated more or less to cover so that I can give my opinion and break down and cover it for y'all if y'all have missed anything. But if there's another big thing that happens, I will be able to cover that with better, just feel freed up more or less to cover that better. So let's get into this though.
Oval office for the 3rd time now.
Yeah.
Really happy to have the opportunity to speak with you in these challenging times.
And this is dead ass right in the middle of this fucking war. Like what day is this? The war started on the 28th, the very end of February, and this is March 3rd. Yeah, right dead ass in the middle of the war.
On the same page in terms of getting this terrible regime in Tehran away.
away.
And we will talk about the day after, what will happen then if they are out. We have to talk about our trade agreement, which I would like to be in place as soon as possible. And we have to talk about
Trump, love that.
There are too many bad guys in this world, actually, and this is an issue we have to talk about. Because we all want to see this war coming to an end as soon as possible. But Ukraine has to preserve its territory and their security interests. And, well, we will talk about that.
We will.
Looking
indeed.
forward to that.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you
That's some
for your
interesting.
hospitality. Thank you for letting me spending the night in your guest house.
That's
it's
right.
A very, very
good,
comfortable
good.
place.
You liked it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, great place. And a famous place.
That's
yeah?
good. Very famous.
So many former presidents.
That's
there.
right.
Yeah.
Very famous place. Any questions, please?
Mr. President, did Israel force your hand to launch these strikes against Iran? Did Netanyahu
No.
Oh, no.
No, I might have forced their hand.
Oh, I might have forced their hand.
We were having negotiations with these.
If Trump's Jabba the Hutt, then I'm Salacious Crumb. Oh, man.
Against Iran? Did Netanyahu pull the United States into this war?
No, I might have forced their hand. You see, we were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people, people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand. But Israel was ready and we were ready. And we've had a very, very powerful impact because virtually everything they have has been knocked out now. Their missile count is going way down. Amazingly, they're hitting countries that were, you know, let's call them neutral, right? They lived together for a long time. I think they were surprised. I was surprised. I think and now those countries are all fighting against them and fighting strongly against them.
Well,
someday they'll.
I don't think that accurately describes what's going on quite, but according to the videos we just watched, it said like Saudi Arabia and one other country had like reserved the right to attack, but they hadn't yet. And several other countries, I think, had defended themselves but had not responded. So he's like, everyone's attacking, everyone's responding. It's like, okay, like we know he lies, but I'm just, gonna set the record straight as we go through, so we can just keep on the same page here of what reality is. Welcome to reality.
The story, and they'll say why they did that, but they hit countries that had nothing to do with what's going on.
That
they
is
were
true.
sort of leaving everything alone. All of a sudden, they get
all
they
those
had
countries
missiles
responding yet,
shot
though,
in,
is not true.
which shows you the level of evil that we're dealing with. They'll hit people that were actually at least somewhat friendly, and they had no problems with it. Also hitting only civilian places, hotels and apartment buildings, and we're hitting them where it is much more appropriate. We're hitting them very hard. And the big scale hitting goes now. They no longer have air protection. They no longer have any detection facilities at all left.
That's what I was thinking. They have no internet. They have no, like, you check out their Navy. Their Air Force has to be, like, almost fully depleted, if not fully depleted. Like, what defense do they have left?
And so they're gonna be in for a lot of hurt. These are bad people. These are people that killed. I guess it's 35,000. It's coming out 35,000 over the last 3 weeks. Protesters, 35,000 violently killed.
I laugh about it because the way he says it is funny, but none of this is funny. Like, no one needs to be dying. It's really all sick. And I'm trying to, like, keep a humorous approach about it and, attack it sometimes, have fun at sometimes, but none of this is funny. It's all fucked up. And so anyway, I just want to point,
So these are bad people, and the leader of the pack is gone.
But who's to say who's bad if everyone just starts killing everybody? I mean, it's foolish.
And as you know, 49 people were taken out in the first hit, and I guess there was another hit today on the new leadership, and it looks like that was pretty substantial also. So they're getting hit very hard, and we'll see what happens. A lot of people are coming forward. a lot of the people you would least suspect.
That's the thing. I think we killed their initial religious leader. I think they appointed a new one. I think we killed that guy within 24 hours. Let's look that up if I can find that. I'm not going to be able to find that because the big news is the initial one that was killed. Okay.
Want to quit. They want to have immunity. They're asking for immunity, and probably at some point they'll be dropping, as you would say, laying down their guns. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, we're just continuing to go forward. Our military is the #1 in the world by far, and we are. Everything's big in my book. Venezuela was big. This is big. The original
in my book.
hit, Midnight Hammer, was big. Everything you view is big, but it's not considered very big by some standards, by some of our standards. We have a military like no other military that's ever been built.
Mr. President, what's the worst case scenario that you have planned for in Iran?
Well, I don't know if there's a worst case. We have them very much beaten militarily from the military standpoint. They're still lobbing some missiles. At some point, they won't even be able to do that because we're hitting all of their carriers. We're hitting all of their missile stock. You know, they built up all these missiles over the last few years. They had a lot of them. They've shot a lot of them, and we're knocking out a lot. I guess the worst case would be we do this, and then somebody takes over who's as bad as the previous person, right? That could happen.
No, the worst case is Russia and China and North Korea getting involved, the nukes getting thrown about. That's the worst case scenario, I think.
We don't want that to happen. It would probably be the worst. You go through this, and then in 5 years you realize you put somebody in who was no better. So we'd like to see somebody in there that's going to bring it back for the people. And we'll see what happens with the people. You know, they have their chance. And we've said, don't do it yet. If you're going to go out and protest, don't do it yet. It's very dangerous out there. A lot of bombs are being dropped. But I would say that would be...
A lot of bombs are being dropped.
Don't do it yet. If you're going to go out and protest, don't do it yet. It's very dangerous out there. A lot of bombs are being dropped. But I would say that would be about the worst.
You like that? Don't go out yet. A lot of bombs.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, you know, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group they've been dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody. But we have, I mean, Venezuela was so incredible because we did the attack and we kept government totally intact. And we have Delcy, who's been very good. We have the whole chain of command, and they've been, you know, look, the relationship's been great. We've taken out 100 million barrels of oil already.
Wow.
And a big part of that goes
Capitalism,
to them. A big
bitch.
part goes to us. And it's been great. We paid for the war many times over, and we're going to be running the oil. And Venezuela's going to make more money than they ever made, and that's great for the people. The relationship has been great.
Sure.
It's been seamless. Nobody's actually ever seen anything like it. If you look at Iraq, where
Dude, he
very
loves
stupidly
that.
everybody...
They've never seen anything like it. He thinks he's Mac Dre, never seen. I've said that before, but for anyone who's never heard me say that, Trump loves saying they've never seen. They've never seen. It's just one of his bragging lines that he loves, but I love to compare him to Mac Dre.
He was fired. The generals were fired. The military was fired. The police were fired. The fire departments were fired. And all of the government workers.
You think he's back on The Apprentice?
So after...
They're fired. They're fired.
You know, people would call. They had no idea. And by the way, ISIS was formed. That's where ISIS came from. All of the fired people. We don't believe in that. So we'll see what happens. But first we have to finish off the military.
He almost told you the truth. That's where ISIS came from. All the fired people. We don't believe that. It's like, well, you don't believe what? What you just said? Oh, he said he don't believe in firing people. But the way he said it was worded weird.
All of the government workers were fired. So after, you know, people would call. They had no idea. And by the way, ISIS was formed. That's where ISIS came from. All of the fired people. We don't believe in that. So we'll see what happens. But
we don't believe in that. You don't believe in firing people, or you don't believe that ISIS came from all the fired people? That's how the Illuminati works sometimes. They'll slip in the truth in like plain sight in like coded language. That was interesting.
For people would call, they had no idea. And by the way, ISIS was formed. That's where ISIS came from. All of the fired people. We don't believe in that. So we'll see what happens. But first we have to finish off the military.
What do you think about Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi? Is he an option at all in your mind?
I guess he is. Some people like him, and we haven't been thinking about too much about that. It would seem to me that somebody from within maybe would be more appropriate. I've said that. He looks like a very nice person, but it would seem to me that somebody that's there, that's currently popular, if there's such a person. But we have people like that. We have people that were more moderate. You know, these were radical lunatics, and you know what they get? They get nothing. All they do is kill people.
Mr. President, what exactly was the imminent?
You've asked, not your turn. Not your turn, please.
Mr. President, are you going to take the heat off the Europeans to pretend to be helping Mark Rutte called on the allies to also help you?
What does that mean?
Well, you have to ask Mark Rutte. He said not as part of NATO, but to be helpful to you in this.
Well, some of the European nations have been helpful, and some haven't. And I'm, very surprised. Germany's been great. He's been terrific. Others have been very good, terrific. I think that the head of NATO, Mark, is fantastic. Okay, Mark Rutte. I think he's fantastic. But some of the European, like Spain, has been terrible. In fact, I told Scott to cut off all dealings with Spain. First of all, it started when every European nation, at my request, paid 5%, which they should be doing. And everybody was enthusiastic about it, Germany, everybody. And Spain didn't do it. And now Spain actually said that we can't use their bases. And that's all right. We could use their base if we want. We could just fly in and use it. Nobody's going to tell us not to use it. But we don't have to. But they were unfriendly. And so I told him, we don't want to. Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people. But they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would agree to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%.
Dude, did you hear that reporter? I want to know who he is so bad that gave a slight little chuckle. There's someone in there that's a reporter. I think his name's Peter. That gives a little chuckle a lot of times whenever Trump does something cute.
They were the only country that
Let's
in
see if we
NATO
can turn the volume up and hear it. God damn, I love that guy.
Would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would agree to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%.
God damn, you can barely hear him.
And they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain. And I'm not, by the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. That island that you read about, the lease, okay, he made it for whatever reason, he made a lease of the island. Somebody came and took it away from him. And it's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. So we are very surprised. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
Damn, he's fucking pissed at UK. And we're going to see a video later where he's going to say, oh, it's too late. You sending some aircraft carriers over there now. It's like the war is over. I think that's all we needed from this one. I want to see him shit on Spain and also the UK. Look at him. God, he's cute.
Service members here with us.
What do we want from this one?
And this here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Service member leadership. And
that's where he talks about the curtain. There was one video where he gets to talk about the ballroom curtain, and it is just pure. It has nothing to do with the war. It is just pure comedy. Oh yeah, yep, yeah, boy, yep.
But whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever.
Oh my God! Let's really draw this in. We'll watch the first several minutes, up to the curtain point. The first like 7 minutes. We have a full-blown war going on here. Meeting with other foreign leaders in front of the press, getting the Medal of Honor. We're gonna see him later at Whataburger. Boom! God, that music was so gay and lame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow with me as I ask God's blessings upon this ceremony. Almighty God,
I do respect and believe in God, but I know y'all don't, so I'm skipping this chicken shit from
You're
you,
steady.
bitch. I don't need to hear you mock his name. Actually, do I want to hear what he prays for? Yeah, let's hear what this fucking
Ladies
idiot
and
prays
gentlemen,
for.
please bow with me as I ask God's blessings upon this ceremony.
See how absolutely greasy the things he asks for are, or maybe not, but let's see.
Almighty God, your steady hand has guided this republic for nearly 250 years. From its birth in the wilderness to this very hour, we come to you now with grateful hearts. We assemble here today to honor men who...
Trump looked around like, does everyone have their head down? Look at him! He's like, does everyone have their eyes closed? All right, I'll keep mine closed too. Fuck it.
This very hour, we come to you now with grateful hearts. We assemble here,
no, you don't.
Here today to honor men who, when the test came, were steadfast and unmovable. We thank you for the unyielding conviction of Master Sergeant Roderick Edmonds, who looked evil in the eyes and did not flinch.
He's evil.
We thank you for the battlefield grit of Command Sergeant Major Terry Richardson.
No, that's the greasy kind of shit I thought it was going to be about.
Great nation.
Let's get to Trumpster.
In this. Get it. Thank you very much, Chaplain Green. Wonderful job. Appreciate it. And thank everybody for being here, and please feel free to sit. So before we begin this important ceremony, and there's no ceremony that can be much more important than this, let me provide a brief update on Operation Epic Fury.
Today, when he said everyone be seated, if you've ever been to yeah, hell yeah, Joey, we're going strong. Yeah, it is impressive with all these things that he does. That a lot of his speeches are like 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half. Some of them usually not more than that. But for him to stand up there that long, if you've ever been at a place like this and you're having to stand up, you can't wait till they say you can be seated. You're like, thank God, I can finally sit my ass down. But it's like, with that being said, this man stands up there the whole time, which makes you wonder if he's on some kind of medication for being that old and being able to stand up that long. That's impressive alone.
Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran to eliminate the grave threats posed to America by this terrible terrorist regime. Following our obliteration of Iran's nuclear program in Operation Midnight Hammer a short while ago, we warned...
So I guess at this point, if we completely obliterated their nuclear, when we went to war with them this time, is it because they had started working on it yet again, or was it strictly regime change? Like, I want to... Maybe I should go back, and at the very end, we'll go back and watch what Trump says in that one speech where he has the cap on to the nation. Like, what is the objective? Is it no nuclear, or is it regime change, or both? Because if Midnight Hammer was totally successful, that kind of weakens the reasoning behind us going to war over nuclear, right?
Iran not to make any attempt to rebuild at a different location because they were unable to use the ones that we so powerfully blew up, but they ignored those warnings and refused to cease their pursuit of nuclear weapons. In addition, the regime's conventional ballistic missile program was growing rapidly and dramatically, and this posed a very clear, colossal threat to America and our forces stationed overseas. The regime already had missiles capable of hitting Europe and our bases, both local and overseas, and would soon have had missiles capable of reaching our beautiful America. The purpose of this fast-growing missile program was to shield their nuclear weapon development and make it extraordinarily difficult for anyone to stop them from making these highly forbidden, by us, nuclear weapons. We were the ones that were complaining. We were the ones that wanted it stopped. But everybody was behind us. They just
didn't have the courage to say so.
What the
An
hell?
Iranian regime armed
weird.
with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people. Our country itself would be under threat, and it was very nearly under threat. I was very proud to have knocked out the Iran nuclear deal by President Barack Hussein Obama. That was a horrible, horrible, dangerous document. They would have had nuclear weapons 3 years ago, and they would have used them. But I'll not let that happen. For almost 47 years, this regime has been attacking the United States and killing Americans. Every time you see someone with missing arms and legs or a face that's been absolutely shattered violently,
what the fuck?
It was almost certainly caused by an Iran roadside.
Oh. No. Didn't we go to war against Afghanistan and Iraq? What about all the people that got fucked up in those wars? Every time you see someone fucked up from a war, it was from them, these people. That's how you do. That's no. No.
Bomb. They were put there by General Soleimani, who was the father of the roadside bomb. Very proudly, he thought, but I terminated him in my first term. This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now.
That's true. I think there was someone who said probably 6 months ago, I wish I had that video, and there's a couple people that said it, America's on the decline in a lot of ways, and Israel knows this, and they know that no one's going to support them as much as Trump does as far as American leadership. This might be one of their last big chances to really push for some of the religious stuff that we're going to watch if I finally eventually get to it at the end of this long-ass stream, but some of maybe the religious implications for this war. Israel might be thinking, okay, if America's on the downcline, they're not going to be a power 20 or 30 years like they are now. This might be our last chance to really push for this biblical prophecy thing that we think we are owed.
Eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime, and they are indeed sick and sinister. Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make. Second, we're annihilating their navy. We've knocked out already 10 ships. They're at the bottom of the sea. Third, we're ensuring that the world's #1 sponsor of terror can never obtain a nuclear weapon, never going to have a nuclear weapon. I said that from the beginning. They're never going to have a nuclear weapon. They were on the road to getting one legitimately through a deal that was signed foolishly by our country. And finally, we're ensuring that the Iranian regime cannot continue to arm, fund, and direct terrorist armies outside of their borders. And we thought we had a deal, but then they backed out. And they came back, and we thought we had a deal, and they backed out. I said, you can't deal with these people. You got to do it the right way. Today, we grieve for the 4 heroic American service members who have been killed in action and send our love and support to their families. In their memory, we continue this mission with ferocious, unyielding resolve to crush the threat this terrorist regime poses to the American people, and a threat indeed it is.
This is a good video to watch because it's about halfway through the week. It's Trump kind of giving his thoughts going into it and kind of what's happened so far and his thoughts going forward. But the reason I wanted to watch this video is what's about to come up, where he brags about the ballroom and the curtain, and it's hilarious. Give me a minute. I'm going to run to the restroom. I got something in my eye. I'm going to try to get it out real quick, and then we'll continue. I know this is a long one. It might not be that good of a video. It might be a banger, but I probably got another hour's worth of content, so I'll see if I got that in me. I do actually have work in the morning, so I can't go too late. What time is it? 11? Yeah, I got another hour in me max, so hopefully I can get through all the content I want to and get some of my thoughts out on like the religious implications and kind of tie it together. And yeah, we'll end it off hopefully within an hour, but give me a second. I'm going to go to the restroom. All right, I'm back. I appreciate your patience. Let's get into it.
We have the strongest and most powerful by far military in the world, and we will easily prevail. We're already substantially ahead of our time projections, but whatever the time is, it's okay. Whatever it takes, we will always, and we have right from the beginning, we projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly. After that, he'll get bored. I don't get bored. There's nothing boring about this. Do you agree with that, Pete? I don't think there's anything, Mr. General. I think there's nothing boring about it. Somebody actually said from the media, I think he'll get bored after about a week or two. No, we don't get bored.
We don't get bored. I never get bored.
If I got bored, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I guarantee you that. To go through what I had to go through. We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour, so we're ahead of schedule there by a lot. But please join me in thanking every American service member who bravely is standing in harm's way. They really are incredible, and I just want to thank you. We have a lot of them right here. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now.
Thank you, everybody. We have a lot of great service members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, right here.
Improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down, right now you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful building. And there's your entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains.
You saved curtains?
And it will be.
Whoa! How do you like that? Trump's bragging about the ballroom, and then he gets distracted by the temporary curtains that he has, and he's like, you know what? I was going to put up doors, but the curtains, I like them so much, I might just save money on the doors and leave up the gold curtains. It's like, dude.
It'll be spectacular. It'll be the most beautiful ballroom. I believe it, because I built many a ballroom. I believe it's going to be the most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world. And when you hear all that hammering out there, you know why the First Lady is not thrilled exactly. She said, will the pile drivers ever stop? You know, they go from 6 in the morning till 11:30 in the evening. Can you imagine?
Whoa.
Here? You know what? To me, that's a beautiful sound. She doesn't like it. I love it. You know what? To me, other than here, because we're donating it, not a penny to the taxpayer. It'll be under budget, ahead of schedule. It'll be $400 million or less. Most people say $400 million or more. No, it'll be less. But when I hear that sound, that beautiful sound behind me, it means money, so I like it. But my wife isn't thrilled. She said, this is getting crazy. I said, don't worry about it. We'll be all finished up in a few months. But now, for the reason that we're gathered this morning to recognize the unsurpassed courage of 3 really incredible.
Let's go back to the curtain thing real quick.
Sound. She does stop, you know. But
stop the hammering. If you know, you know.
My first term, I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains.
I just saved curtains.
But those, see that nice drape? Members here with us, too, in this beautiful building. Isn't it beautiful? We're adding on to the building a little bit. We're improving the building. See that nice drape? When that comes down, right now you see a very, very deep hole. But in about a year and a half from now, you're going to see a very, very beautiful building. And there's your entrance to it right there. In fact, it looks so nice, I think I'll save money on the doors, because it can't get more beautiful than that. I picked those drapes in my first term. I always like gold, but I think we can save a lot of money. I just saved curtains.
I just saved curtains. Yowie! Anyway, just a little comic relief. And during the war, Oh, excuse me, the day before the war. Excuse me, the day before the war. Trump had the time. Look what this idiot had the time for. Ba 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 da 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 da. Woo! Look at these idiots. Look at this fat loser. Who can still support Trump at this time, dude? Woo! We're down at Whataburger because we have no job and nothing to do. We're absolute losers. Woo! Is that what they're still doing? It is. How did I know?
How are the burgers? Pretty good. Fantastic. Real famous people tonight.
We're all famous tonight.
Did you like the State of the Union? Yeah.
Yes, we loved your lies. We loved you telling us that we're winning so much we can't take it. Stuff it in our ass, Trump. Oh, yeah. Dude, anyone that's at this Whataburger should be a fucking shame to yourself. What are you doing? What are you teaching your kids? Someone could be a famous fucking loser, and we love them. We're ready to suck their dick. Everybody there should be ashamed of yourself. What the fuck, bro? Don't you have anything better to do with your life? Woo! Trump's here to get a burger! Let me suck his fat cock. Dude. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? Woo!
The Democrats never stood up even.
They did stand up. Not that I give a fuck, but they did stand up. Whenever he said he was gonna fucking try to get something going to stop insider trading and put a bill for that, almost all the Democrats, including Elizabeth Warren, stood up. They never stood up for a thing. Fuck them. I'm the hero. I brought in the hockey team. I brought in a single mom who's richer, $5,000 richer a year because of me.
It's unbelievable. It is.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
I'm going to order some. No, okay, you ready? Can you handle this?
Nobody lies like Trump. Nobody lies like Trump. It's unbelievable. I'm the best liar. Everybody, free burgers for everybody here. What is that, like $50? 47. I love the number 47. We should have went to war with Iran 47 years ago. 47th president, 47 burgers, $47.
Hamburgers for all. Just for a bar, I say drinks for all, but I don't drink.
So no one gets to have any fucking soda or sweet tea? I don't drink, so no drinks. Burgers only, no fries, no drink, no meal.
You don't drink either.
You don't drink either.
Hamburgers for all. You got it.
I just eat nothing but goy meat. Oh my God. Gulf of America. What a fucking loser. Oh man. Look at these people right behind it acting like they like him. Dude, you know you hate him. The people behind the counter. Come on, dude. Working class people don't like Trump.
Thank you very much. I like that hat. Thank you.
Most Latinos and Latinas don't like Trump.
Yes, nice to see everybody.
I know y'all ready to jump down my throat. Pause whenever I was talking about the sauce walker and Mexican OT thing, and everyone was telling the white boy to shut up. But I think y'all would agree with me. Most Latinos, they don't vote with Trump.
Corpus Christi, Corpus Christi likes me, and Texas likes me. We do.
Think opinions changing fast. Hopefully, people are finally waking the fuck up. Anyway, that's enough of that video. Okay, we're finally getting through some of the overwhelming. Would have seemed like we had too much material to cover at the beginning. We're finally starting to hack away at some of it. It's getting a little late too, but let's see. I don't even know what I wanted to hear from this video. I think I just kind of wanted to update, but we've got that from several other videos, so I think I'm good on this one. I don't think there's anything he said in here that was too crazy. Let's watch this one, because this was... Oh, really? 6 days ago? Okay, so I guess just a day or two into the war, he gave an update. So let's watch this. And then we have an update with him on Air Force One with the press from just earlier today, 7 hours ago. And then we will watch, just this little thing where he says he doesn't need UK, which is an update from only 2 hours ago. What I was saying earlier, he's like, oh, the war's over. We don't need UK now. So let's watch these videos. And then that might be where I end it. I might do a follow-up stream tomorrow on the religious side of why I think Israel is doing this. Today we've covered pretty much all the updates of the war, not very thorough and as well as I would have if I would have been doing it as it was going. But we kind of got an update of what's gone on the first week, some of the stuff Trump said, who was attacked, who retaliated, and maybe I'll save tomorrow for a follow-up stream. We'll do kind of what the religious side and the implications of that, and maybe the motivations of Israel other than the nuclear story.
The United States and its partners have launched Operation Epic Fury, one of the largest, most complex, most overwhelming military offensives the world has ever seen. Nobody's seen anything like it. We have hit hundreds of targets in Iran, including Revolutionary Guard facilities, Iranian air defense systems. Just now it was announced that we knocked out 9 ships plus their naval building, all in a matter of...
Okay, we had already heard that.
Literally minutes. Iran's formerly supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is dead. This wretched and vile man had the blood of hundreds and even thousands of Americans on his hands and was responsible for the slaughter of countless thousands of innocent people all across many countries. Last night, all over Iran, the voices of the Iranian people could be heard cheering and celebrating in the streets when his death was announced.
That's something we're going to cover too, possibly tomorrow. Were people in Iran, for the most part, happy or not? How much of that, was it split? Was it mostly one way or the other? I'm going to talk to my homie tomorrow, maybe get some insight on that. That's one of the big questions I want to ask him. But in Iran itself, I know in America there may be a lot of people, like in the big cities that are Iranian people that had left, were like cheering. Well, obviously those are the ones that didn't want to be there, but the people that were still there, were they happy or sad for the most part, or was it pretty split over this guy being killed? That's something I kind of want to know on, and I want to ask someone that's a little bit more tapped in on this thing beforehand and kind of knows the history and kind of just more tapped into this whole scenario.
The entire military command is gone as well, and many of them want to surrender into saving their lives. They want immunity. They're calling by the thousands.
By the thousands!
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. We have very strong objectives. They could have done something.
I know I've showed some of this out of order too, so some of these strong objectives that he's talking about, like the strike with the torpedo on that one ship, and certain other things that I've shown, like that video I showed earlier where they had struck like an oil refinery or some big oil place in Iran. That was one of these strikes they was talking about that I kind of showed out of order. But I think at the time I said, hey, this video is from however long ago. So, you know, just, the videos weren't lined up all in when they were released. But at the time when I was showing the video, I tried to say when it was released to hopefully keep the continuity in your mind of what's going on when, even if it's a little confusing. So sorry about that if it does get a little confusing with the way I'm showing things.
2 weeks ago, but they just couldn't get there. Earlier today, CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots.
So we've already had a few casualties even within the first few days, which is when this one was released.
Who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation, even as we continue the righteous mission for which they gave their lives. Eternal gratitude to the families of the fallen, and sadly, there will likely be more before it ends.
That's something I posed earlier, and I'm going to post it again for people that are tuning in late, or maybe people that when they watch the rebroadcast, they don't see it earlier, or what have you. I I wonder how American sentiment, and I think for the most part, we're not okay with this war and not okay with joining in like boots on the ground type stuff and like us getting involved with our citizens. So it's interesting, um, the motives behind this war and our motives behind supporting Israel pretty much blindly, and how the actual citizens, not the politicians of this country, but the citizens of this country feel about sending our own people over there to fight, and how we feel about all this death and destruction in the name of what. So the motives of this war and stuff, and religious implications and how we feel about it and stuff, I'm probably going to dive into more tomorrow or the next time I stream. But yeah, that's just something I want to pose again. Like, how do we as a society and as a people feel about this?
That's the way it is. Likely be more, but we'll do everything possible where that won't be the case. But America will avenge their deaths and deliver the most punishing blow to the terrorists who have waged war against basically civilization. They have waged war against civilization itself. Our resolve, and likewise that of Israel, has never been stronger. America is now, again, the richest, most powerful nation in the world by far.
By far.
But the only reason we enjoy the quality of life that we do and the freedom...
It's because we bomb the hell out of everyone who doesn't fuck with us. Or who fucks with us.
And security is we have done things that others are unable to do. But it's because of warriors who are willing to lay down their lives to do battle with our enemies. And they do battle better than anybody. An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be a dire threat to every American. We cannot allow a nation that raises terrorist armies to possess such weapons that would allow them to extort the world to their evil will. Not going to let it happen. We're not happening to us, and we're not going to let it happen to others.
We're not happening.
The United States...
Not going to happen. We're not happening. He kind of fucked that up.
Is the strongest military the world has ever seen. I rebuilt our military in my first term.
He loves
There's never been a military
never seen
like we possess. And frankly, there's nobody even close, but we are now using that military for good. We want to have it for good purpose. We're undertaking this massive operation not merely to ensure security for our own time and place, but for our children and their children, just as our ancestors have done for us many, many years ago. This is the duty and the burden of a free people. These actions are right, and they are necessary to ensure that Americans will never have to face a radical, bloodthirsty terrorist regime armed with nuclear weapons and lots of threats. For almost 50
this is never going to happen again, right? We're never going to have to go to war against a terrorist again.
50 years, these wicked extremists have been attacking the United States while chanting the slogan, "Death to America," or "Death to Israel," or both. They are the world's #1 state sponsor of terror. We are the world's greatest and most powerful nation, so we can do something about what they do. These intolerable threats will not continue any longer. I once again urge the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian military, police, to lay down your arms and receive full immunity or face certain death. It will be certain death. Won't be pretty. I call upon all Iranian patriots who yearn for freedom to seize this moment, to be brave, be bold, be heroic, and take back your country. America is with you. I made a promise to you, and I fulfilled that promise. The rest will be up to you, but we'll be there to help. Thank you.
Stay in your homes. We're going to be bombing the hell out of it. Remember that video in the early on that I showed in the stream? Don't come outside. There'll be bombs dropping everywhere.
God bless you to our incredible warriors, and God bless the United States of America.
All right.
On Saturdays with the AP's Will Weissert. He covers the White House for the Associated Press. You know, top of the hour, we were airing that press gaggle that President Trump had aboard Air Force One. We've been kind of looking to see how the U.S. would address a direct question about that strike on a girls' school, that strike that happened basically in the opening moments of the U.S.'s campaign in Iran. Will, the president saying that he believes that it was an Iranian missile that...
We'll watch him say that too. I kind of want them to touch on the thing with the UK.
It's looking...
I wonder if he says that on the gaggle. We'll just watch this first.
It's a very sad day, and glad we paid our respects. It's a tough situation. Great people, great parents, wives, family. Hello, everybody. It's a very sad day, and glad we paid our respects. It's a tough situation. Great people, great parents, wives, family, and a beautiful ceremony. I guess you got to see that, at least partially. Any questions?
President Trump, did what you just witnessed make you think differently about going ahead with this war or even putting...
Again, this is on Air Force One 7 hours ago. So earlier today, this is the most recent, pretty much a pretty good update on what's going on with the war right now, because it's mostly what they talk about. So this will probably be the last video of the night. There'll be several things on this video that we can touch on, though. We've been going for, a good hour 45, so this will probably end off a good 2-hour stream, probably one of the longest in the history. I appreciate anyone who's been here with me for the stream. Appreciate y'all rocking out with me tonight. We will go through this video. I'm just kind of giving a quick little update. I appreciate y'all rocking out with me tonight. The beginning, we did have some technical difficulties. We watched like one video, and then I kind of went through hell with OBS and Chrome. I kind of had to restart everything, and then we kind of been rolling good since then. So I appreciate anyone who's rocked out for the live stream or who catches the rebroadcast. And I know the pacing was a bit off with some of the videos not being in order too, because I didn't have all my homework done like I would like to. But anyway, I appreciate y'all rocking out. We'll watch this video, which will be Trump updating us on pretty much most of the war stuff, at least the most latest of the war things, and we'll give our commentary, and then we'll get out of here. So, let's watch this.
It's a very sad day, and glad we paid our respects. It's a tough situation. Great people, great parents, wives, family, and a beautiful ceremony. I guess you got to see that, at least partially. Any questions?
President Trump, did what you just witnessed make you think differently about going ahead with this war or even putting troops on the ground in the Middle East?
We're winning the war by a lot. We've decimated their whole evil empire. It'll continue, I'm sure, for a little while. But very proud of the people, the parents. The parents were so proud of their boy, as they call him, my boy. Case, the young lady. The parents are so proud. Many of them are military parents, as you know. So but it's always a very sad thing. The war itself is going unbelievably. It's as good as it can be. We have Pete here, and you have Steve Witkoff here. We have some additional questions.
You're 1 week in now, sir. You're 1 week in at this point. How long, as of now, do you expect
I think we've accomplished more in 1 week than anyone thought possible. We've wiped out their Navy 44 ships. We've wiped out their Air Force, every plane. We've wiped out most of their missiles. You see, the missiles aren't coming much anymore. We've also hit their manufacturing. Navy 44 ships. We've wiped out their...
How long, as of now, do you expect
I think we've accomplished more in 1 week than anyone thought possible. We've wiped out their Navy 44 ships. We've wiped out their Air Force, every plane. We've wiped out most of their missiles. You see, the missiles aren't coming much anymore. We've also hit their manufacturing areas where they make the missiles very hard. Their drone capacity is way down. And we've hurt them where it hurts. Including about every form of leadership you can have, we've wiped out.
You still expect up to 6 weeks total?
I don't know. I never reject time, whatever it takes. But the military is almost non-existent, if you look.
Whatever it takes. But it did say they knocked out pretty much most of, if not all, their Navy, all their Air Force. Their missiles are way down, and their drones are way down. And their drones are one of their primary ways of attack and one of their cheap. I think each drone only costs them $50,000, and they're very effective at causing damage. So that's one of their primary methods of attack, from what I've heard.
We could hit the military itself very hard, but maybe we will, maybe we won't. We haven't made that determination.
What do you think about gas prices? Gas prices right now? Are you worried about gas prices right now?
No. This is a short excursion into something that should have been done for 47 years. 47 years it's taken to do this, and no president had the guts to do it.
You're worried you're going to end up coming back to
47. He says it's 47 years since they should have done this, and he's the 47th president. That's a little weird, isn't it?
over for more of these such dignified transfers.
Sure, I hate to do it, but it's a part of war, isn't it? Who are you with?
Washington Post.
Would you say it's a part of war?
Deaths are part of war,
yeah. It's part of war. It's a sad part of war. It's the bad part of war.
Mr. President, did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
No one wants to hear that we accidentally killed 150 kids, though, right?
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran.
Can you give us an idea?
Because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer.
When they cry uncle?
Longer, there's nobody around to cry uncle.
Oh, there's nobody around to cry uncle.
That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
Mr. President, can I ask you what Peter asked you a question yesterday? You said it wasn't the right time in that event, but he was asking whether you have indications of whether Russia is supporting Iran somehow in this.
No, I haven't had that. I haven't had no indication
of Russia supporting Iran
of that whatsoever. If they are, they're not doing it very good.
I'm going to put up closed captions for the second half of this video, and if you're one of my regular viewers, or even if you're not, and you made it this far in the video, shout out to you. Appreciate y'all for sure. Let me know if you like the closed captions for this kind of a video, especially where maybe the reporters are talking a little quiet. And yeah, just let me know if you fuck with the closed captions or not.
With whether Russia is supporting Iran somehow in this.
No, I haven't had that. I haven't had no indication of that whatsoever. If they are, they're not doing a very good job, because Iran is not doing too well.
What about the Strait of Hormuz? There's no traffic really going through it.
Well, that's, the ship's choices.
As I mentioned earlier, and I'll say it again, shout out to Myron and others who have put me onto this game and made me privy to it. The Strait of Hormuz is, I think I told a couple of my family members wrong when I was describing it, but it's right by Iran, but it's where 20% of the oil that supplies the world, 20% of the world's oil supply goes through there. I'm guessing mostly from Iran, but they shut that shit down, in other words, right now, as part of the war. So
we haven't cleaned out. We've wiped out their navy. The navy is now at the bottom of the sea. So that's the choice.
But I'm wondering if the Strait of Hormuz is now open. If they have no navy and pretty much no air force, no navy, and very little missiles left, are they able to keep that closed, or can ships start going through there again?
Excursion. We figured oil prices would go up, which they will. They'll also come down. They'll come down very fast, and we will have gotten rid of a major cancer on the face of the earth. We will have taken out a cancer. Don't forget October 7th. Don't forget all of the things that have happened over the years, all caused by these people. So what we're doing is a great thing, not only for our country and not only for Israel, not only for the Middle East, but for the world.
Secretary Bessent announced some moves to temporarily allow certain Russian oil sales to India. Are you considering any other moves, including the SPR?
Well, if there were some, I would do it just to take a little of the pressure off. But I think that the oil pressure, but there's a lot of oil. We've got a lot of oil. Our country has a tremendous amount, and there's a lot of oil out there. That'll get healed very quickly.
Would you consider using the SPR or tapping into the SPR at some point?
Strategic reserve?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the one that built them up. Biden used them so that he could get some time.
He's just gonna talk about Biden and the oil right now. I don't really care about that.
I mean, that's. I don't think it's an appropriate question. You know, I'm not going to answer it.
Send in ground troops. How are you?
At the appropriate time, which is basically a gut instinct, we will start filling up the strategic reserves.
What are the circumstances where you'd send in ground troops? How are you thinking about that?
I don't even want to talk about it now. I mean, that's. I don't think it's an appropriate question. You know, I'm not going to answer it. Could there be? Possibly, for very good reason. Have to be very good reason. And I would say if we ever did that, they would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level.
Are you thinking about the oil facility there? There's an oil facility kind of on the coast of Iran that could be secured by ground troops. There's been some speculation that could be a target.
Well, I don't know what the speculation is, but I certainly wouldn't be able to tell you that. I'd be in trouble with myself if I told you that.
Mr. President, don't you need ground troops to secure the enriched uranium at the nuclear sites?
Find out about that. We haven't talked about it, but it was a total obliteration. They haven't been able to get to it, and at some point maybe we will. You know, that would be a great thing. But right now we're just decimating them. But we haven't gone after it. But you know, something we could do later on. We wouldn't do it now. Maybe we'd do it later.
You said you want to be involved in the selection of the next leader of Iran. Can you talk to me?
Well, because I don't want to just come back every 10 years, and mostly you'll have presidents, that won't do that because they don't get it. But we don't want to come back every 5 years or every 10 years and do this. So we want to pick a president that's not going to be leading their country into a war. Do you have any questions for Pete or Steve? Come on up.
Mr. Wickoff.
Steve, come on up.
Mr. Wickoff, is there still space to do a deal with whatever is left of the Iranian government?
I think there is. I think that's going to be up to the president. That's what I think. But they didn't seem to be very amenable in those first set of negotiations. You heard what I said. They said we have the inalienable right to enrich. They bragged about having 60% enriched fuel, enough for 11 bombs. And they told me and Jared, we're not going to give you diplomatically what you couldn't take militarily. So, you know, I think they're going to need a change of attitude.
What sort of thing do you want to see in a deal? I mean, do you think you have maximum negotiating leverage at this point?
I think the president has proved that we have.
Iran today accused the U.S. of hitting.
A lot of negotiating leverage, maybe maximum, but we're not looking to settle. They'd like to settle. We're not looking to settle.
Iran accused
Such a weird, interesting war because we could see everything. Like 20 years ago, we would get like 1 or 2 press conferences, maybe in the first week. Now we get all these press conferences, Trump on Air Force One, and much less people that are tuned in geopolitically that I don't know how they get their information, but there's networks of people that are, because of social media, people everywhere are tied in, and there's rumblings and people kind of know what's going to happen almost before it happens, or they have a good indication. So it's just interesting to see this play out. And like throughout this week, you're getting updates and updates and updates on everything that's going on. And like I said, people that I tune into or friends with that are tapped into geopolitics were telling me that this was a highly likely thing that was going to happen. So it's just interesting to have a war unfold in this way and to see like just how they met with these people, and they even to hear that from this guy, and that was kind of a known fact, I think, at that time, like I said, for people that are tuned in. So it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting to see like why would they say that when they know they're just gonna get their ass handed to them. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to get through. Like, we can see behind the curtain a little bit. Why would the Iranian people just say that when they know you're gonna kick their ass? I don't know, it's weird.
Government has now offered use of the British government has offered use of some bases now, and you had previously said you were very disappointed in them.
The 2 aircraft carriers?
I mean, about British bases, they said.
See my response that I just put out? I just put out a response. Give me the offer to send 2 aircraft carriers, maybe, but they're not sure. I just put out a response to it. I said, we don't need them. It's not the right time. It would have been nice to have had them 2 weeks ago, but The response I put out, I think, says it very well for you.
Iran today accused U.S. of
Which is, I think that's all we need to see. If I happen to watch the rest of this video and there's anything that's just an absolute banger, I'll come back and preview it tomorrow. But I think that's good enough for the stream. It's been a while, or it's been a long enough one. I'm ready to end it off. But I just wanted to hear him say that and like diss UK and say, yeah, we don't need him now. It's too late. The war is pretty much over. So anyway, I appreciate anyone who tuned in again or who catches the rebroadcast. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of the stream. It was a little rough and rocky due to me not streaming in a while, technical difficulties, and yada yada. But appreciate y'all as always. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of the stream. Let me know how the video quality and audio was and all that good jazz. And y'all let me know what y'all think of the war. Anything y'all got to say about that for sure. Let me know. Give me opinions on that. And we can discuss it tomorrow. And yeah, y'all stay safe. Don't get involved in the hate. And yeah, I'll see y'all back here soon. Until next time, I'm LG from Where There's Smoke. I'm out.